First of all, I'm going to begin by introducing the guests on the panel today. We start here on my left, Chris Obudu. He's a peer practitioner, independent advisor for Surrey Police, and also works for the BBC in London. We have Dame Betty Asafu Ajay, the Mission Dine Club founder and also the first black dame in the whole of the UK. We have Pastor James Gitau, based in the UK, preaching the gospel worldwide. On my right, we have Ronald Eliwanda, a writer and a political scientist based here in London. Okay, first of all, Chris, I'm going to start with you. The main part of the debate was just to find the core problems in Kenya and what has gone wrong. We'll begin with the elections, because all this seemed to have started after the elections took place on the 27th of December. In your opinion, first of all, do you think the election in Kenya was free and fair?
Based on the report by the independent observers who are from overseas, and based on the final report by the Commonwealth and the report by the EU Commissioner, which is actually in public domain, and also based on the press report by the ECK chairman, who was actually the one in charge of the election, it seemed the election was flawed. So in other words, what happened during the election is cause for concern, both to the Kenyans and to the international world. So the election was not fair and free. It's easy to base our argument on reports which are not facts. And sometimes, you know, if you don't have facts, you go in emotions and statements. The election in Kenya were not fair. The public felt, the majority of the public felt that they had been cheated of the vote. People had waited diligently for so long to vote. They woke up early in the morning to go and exercise their democratic right, because they knew that was the last card they had close to their hearts. But when that is stolen from you, you have nothing else to look forward to. And that one, I think that was one main reason which really fueled a lot of discontent with this election.
Thank you, Chris. Dame Betty, in your opinion, do you think the election in Kenya was free and fair from what you've observed and seen around?
I personally don't watch television due to all these things. But having said that, it doesn't matter whether it was fair or not. I think there's no need for the war to arise. Because at the end of the day, look at the fingers. It's never the same. Yet, each one is a unique. Whether the election is fair or not, no one has a purpose in the world to take the life of a human being.
Thank you.
Because we come with nothing and we go with nothing.
Okay. Thank you. Pastor Gitau, what is your view on the elections?
Well, it's a very difficult and a very tricky question, but from the way people have reacted in Kenya, there appears to have been something wrong somewhere, you know. And most unfortunately, we never expected Kenyans to behave the way they behaved. And we have actually been told them to calm down and address the issue legally and in other better ways. We never expected Kenyans to fight the way they have fought along tribal lines. And we have personally told the leaders, there's Mwai Kibaki and also Raila Odinga, to tell their followers, to tell their followers to stop fighting and resort to dialogue. And I'm hoping for a miracle, and I know everything will be sorted out as soon as possible.
Mr. Wanda, in your opinion, do you think the election in Kenya was free and fair?
No, I'm of the view that it was not free and fair. My views are based on the qualified opinion by those who invigilated the elections, including now the ECK itself. We've had 5 officials, senior officials of the Kenya Electoral Commission who've now come out, including the head of that organization, now claiming that the elections were not free and fair, in addition to obviously the external invigilators from the European Union and the Commonwealth as well.
So which leads to my next question. Do you believe the ECK handled the counting quite well? And I'm going to address this to Mr. Gitau.
That's another difficult one, but according to the reports that we have received from various observers, I think it could have been unfair. Yeah.
Okay, what makes you say that?
Because, again, it's very difficult to actually substantiate, you see. But it's just because of the hearsay and various reports from various observers. So that again brings us to the point of where Mr. Obudo said that we do not have facts before us. It's just hearsay, which would again lead us to actually suggesting that the whole thing be tackled legally or otherwise in a better way.
Okay. Chris, what's your view on that? Do you think the ECK handled the counting of the elections and obviously the tallying of the elections fairly, or how do you think that went?
I just want to correct Mr. James. What I said is we have to base our arguments on facts, and the facts are already in public domain. We have reports from the Commonwealth observers, we have reports from the EU Commission as well, which is matters that are already in public domain. I think, you see, election is a process, is a whole, holistic. You cannot separate the constituency level and the presidency. If the lower part is flawed, it's all flawed. We can't say that because when you're voting in the MPs, there was no rigging or there was improper tallying, but then the presidency was okay, so let's just go ahead with it. What you have to look is, why do we have an election in the first place? Because people want to exercise their democratic right. And if at the higher level there's a problem, then the whole process is problematic. Because one bad egg pollutes the other eggs as well. And that's the whole thing about elections. That's the whole thing about democracy. Otherwise, why do we need a democracy anyway? If it cannot be fair. Then let's just have dictatorship. Why should we go and elect anyone? Let's just have dictatorship then. And that's my feeling. So to me, I feel that after spending so much resources, bringing international observers, millions of dollars have gone down the drain. A lot of blood has been shed. And I think that's something that is a wrong precedent. And I think we must get an African solution to these things.
Okay, no, back to the ECK, we're trying to find out how the ECK handled this. I'm going to address that question to Mr. Wanda. What's your view on this issue about the ECK handling the...
There's overwhelming evidence to show that the ECK did not do what it was supposed to do in a correct, legalistical way. And the blame lies on as far as I'm concerned, the blame lies on the head of the ECK. 2 days before announcing the presidential elections, the outcome of the final, concluding the whole election, he actually stated that there were certain constituencies who had not reported back the results from, had not communicated with him to inform him of the results, and then 2 days following that, there were no investigations done as to why they did not, there was lack of communication between himself and his officials back in these constituencies. And the results, people questioned, and that's the conflict that we have.
Okay.